Welcome in, friends. Welcome to Monday. Oh boy, a lot going on. I don't know how your weekend was. We're going to find out how Lewis's weekend was because I'm sure 1 week before the amazing Unity Tour begins, I'm sure he was a little bit busy. I'm sure he didn't get a whole lot of rest. Our show's going to be a little bit shorter today only because he's got another interview to jump to after that. So we'll try to keep things on track here. That's why we dispense with the opening song today. Easy. Lewis, how are you, my friend?
Wow, look at me. I look horrible on screen right now. Can
Well,
I
that's what
spray
happens when you
Neumi on
don't
the
sleep.
camera? If I spray Neumi on the camera, will that make it better?
Probably not,
Um,
but okay. Little Vaseline on the lens is one of the tricks we used to do to soften it a little bit.
yeah. So it's actually if I'm going to go into it later, but because of something I saw and how upset I was, I almost didn't make it to our show today.
Wow.
So we'll talk about that. I'm a little frustrated with the goings on in our country for sure. But that's one of the reasons why we're doing the Unity Tour. So we not only can unify, but we can motivate and teach people how they can actually make a difference and stop sitting on their hands.
Yep. Yep.
Um, and again, everybody watching, that doesn't mean you're sitting on your hands. So I know a lot of people get triggered by that, or maybe they're defensive because they have a reason to be defensive. I don't know, but I every time I say stand up and do something, people flood me with all the excuses of why they cannot. And standing up could mean praying with two people. You know what I mean? It could mean creating a group and manifesting with them. It can be making some phone calls. So don't take it literally, those. Because there's people that I know that are bedridden right now that are working harder than those that are not. So this is it. This is literally our last stand. So I'm don't get it at this point how people can't see that it's our last stand.
I stayed away from the news on Saturday, most of the day doing stuff around the ranch and things that needed to get done because we don't have a hired hand right now. So I'm the hired hand in a lot of ways. So I've been doing that. And then Saturday night, I got a guidance from the intuition, and it was saying that be prepared to do a lot more live streaming, a lot more shows in September, over and above what we're doing for the Unity Tour. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of interesting. And then I listened to the SG Anon video that he released on, I think it was on Thursday or Friday of last week, and had a chance to listen to it. And I go, oh, okay, now I get it. I see what's going to happen here. September is going to be a interesting month, to say the
Well,
least.
enlighten us. What do you see?
Well, one thing that he did say, well, two things got very clear for me over the weekend. Number one, why all the avatars, right? Why? What's the point with all the avatars, especially at the DNC? The fake Oprah, the fake
Mhm.
Big Mike, the fake Obama, the fake all of it, right? The fake Hillary, very clearly the fake Hillary. That was probably the worst of them all. Why all of that? And one thing that he was talking about, it was like it is to assure the destruction of the Democrat Party, to make them look like such idiots and such fools that people will stop cheering them on and following them. And you could see that shift. RFK Jr. the next day coming out and supporting Trump, and now today Tulsi Gabbard doing the same thing. You could see the exodus from that. So it's like, okay, that's coming into focus now. We've been talking about it forever, but it really didn't connect with me until the weekend. The other thing that he mentioned was Trump being arrested and jailed. And I said, well, that's not going to happen. And he says, it's absolutely necessary that it happen. And I said, okay, like enlighten me, SG. Tell me what's going on here. So he continued on it, and he said, Trump has to be out of the public eye for what's going to come next, which is basically feels it's going to be martial law, military control for a little while to take
Mhm.
over. And he said he can't be associated with that. So they're going to take him, jail him, but he'll be safe and won't be to worry about it there. And for that reason, take him out of the public eye so that when this all comes crashing to the ground, he can't be involved because, well, he's in jail. So I think, well, that finally, there's something here that kind of makes sense with all of this. What say you, Mr. Herms? I know you probably have a different opinion.
Well, I don't have a different opinion, but I don't want to bust anybody's bubble. I heard this exact same narrative, somebody that very, very, very prominent in this movement exactly 2 years ago about September of 2022. In fact, I was told you probably don't want to do the truth tour in September because that's exactly what's going to happen. I said, no, we're doing the truth tour. So I'm going to say the same thing here. If somebody thinks we're going to back off the Unity tour, it's not going to happen.
No, and I
We're
think there's no reason to. I don't see that as being a thing. But I'm just saying, what my gut feeling was on the download on Saturday is just be prepared to be online a lot, doing a lot more streaming than
Oh yeah, no,
we
I
had
agree
planned.
with
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I agree with you.
Hmm.
What I'm saying is that exact same narrative. Trump's going to be arrested. Don't go doing the truth tour
Yeah.
because there's going to be martial law. It was in September. It was 2022. It's like, well, did I jump through a time portal or something? It's like I heard that same
Hey,
thing.
if you keep
Now,
saying it, it's going to be right at some point if it happens, right?
exactly. We're because the good guys are spell casting too. We just
That's right.
haven't realized that yet.
Yeah.
Um, I do believe, though, that we're building up to something. We have to be because the whole Democrat apparatus, the deep state apparatus, is completely falling apart. I mean, it's completely falling apart. But I will show you a video of concern today later when we're talking. And this is the single one reason why we will not win if we do not figure it out.
Right. Yeah, I
So I'll
agree with you.
definitely show people this video later.
Yeah. So it goes along with basically the theme of all of this is, what happened on the weekend. Well, you know what? Let's talk about Verity Metals for just a moment because they are the sponsor of our show, and we want to give them, our Matt Geiger a little bit of airtime here too. If you're thinking about converting your 401k, your retirement fund, into gold and silver backed rather than being in the stock market, which can be a little scary these days, give Matt a call at veritymetals.com. He's also good for selling if you want to buy gold coins or silver coins or bars. He has all of that available as well. You can reach him at 480-717-9081 or veritymetals.com. And we thank Matt for all that he does to help these shows continue to be on the air because, boy, they take a lot of effort. I think it was, I'm saying about 7 hours today to put the show together. It's like a lot. And you may not see it because you're only dealing with a couple of stories, but to be able to speak knowledgeably about these stories, you really have to do a lot of research and a lot of digging. So that's kind of the thing that takes the time. So I was going to say the theme today really is censorship. I mean, that is the highlight, if nothing else, when the owner of Telegram got arrested on the weekend on Saturday. Guys, I want you to pay attention here very closely to this. The reason he got arrested isn't for what they're saying, and we can go over that the arrest charges, I should say, the things he's charged with. They're laughable, literally. What they really are upset about is he will not censor. Now, if you remember the Mike Benz videos we've been sharing over the past few months, he talked about there being a censorship industry. So you think, well, I can't post this on Facebook, so I'm going to go post it over there on Instagram, or I'm going to post it on they're all tapping into the same back end on this. So if it's censored at one platform, all the platforms that sign up for this, it'll be censored everywhere. That content won't fly. They don't want it to fly. It's not going to fly. Telegram said, no, thank you. Rumble said, no, thank you. And now Elon Musk on X is saying, no, thank you. So if we lose Telegram, we're down to Rumble and X. This is why this is important, because we want to continue to get the messaging out. And I'll tell you right up front here, number one, make sure you go over to screwbiggov.com, get signed up on the newsletter, because if we lose any of these channels, which is very likely, I can tell you, people think it's really difficult to block something like X, right? Or something like Telegram. It is trivial for a country to block it. Trivial for them to block it. So, they could look at Screw Big Gov or Renegade Media and they could say, we don't like these guys. It is one slider, one little checkbox, and the channel's gone. It exists no longer. So we want to be able to keep in touch with you. So make sure you sign up for our newsletter at screwbiggov.com. Also, you keep up with Lewis and everything he's doing on the Unity Tour. And for me, if you want to follow me, renegademedia.tv or Renegade Media on Telegram, while We still have Telegram. Yeah.
Well, we have to, guys, you have to get on that email list. I'm going to tell you why. Because whether you love Elon or not, I am so banned and shadow banned on X, it will knock your socks off. It's just nothing is getting out on my channel. Nothing. I had a channel that had, I can't even describe how much. I think it was up to 60,000 or more. And then under Elon, when I mentioned Khazarian Mafia, they deleted my channel. I'm not saying he personally deleted it, but somebody that deleted my channel. I've made appeal after appeal, haven't gotten it back. Now it wouldn't even matter if I get it back. But then the channel that people found that was a personal channel, they just happened to find it. They shadow bound that within the first week of me posting on there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm screwed on X. So guys, if I lose Telegram, bye-bye. I don't know how to get a hold of you unless you're on part of my email list.
Yeah.
So I would suggest, this is not hyperbole, this is not a joke. I would go to screwbiggov.com and get on the email list, because you're not going to be able to find us. The good news is if you have that, if you get on the email list, we're constantly going to update people where we are. So, and this is, I think everything's going to get worse before it gets better, Robert. So for us to just say, oh, this is just optics, I'm sick of it's just optics when I talk to like, oh no, it's real. Another kid, another this, another that, right? So the optics thing doesn't play with me very well. Now, as we talked before, can it be both? It can be both. You can have the Trump team and the great military and people working in the background doing some great work, but it's not over. There's a lot of work to be done. So there's a lot of stuff going on out there that is just the antithesis to the Constitution and the way of life that we should have. And we need to fight for that. And the challenge is the fight is not there yet. I have seen some momentum in We the People, which I really am excited about, but it's not there yet. And we'll show an example later today.
Yeah. And you caught too the new word that they're all using is unity. Unity, right? That everyone's, because a lot of Democrats now coming over to our side. You know, it's like, it's a little bit scary to think, oh, uniparty, because we've associated a lot of negativity with that. So, like Naomi Wolf said, the unity movement is more like it. And I think that's probably more appropriate, because it is. We want to be unified against those who would, you know, make us to play the games that they've been playing. And they're not even hiding the Constitution. They literally said at the DNC said it is literally just a piece of paper. It's meaningless. Like, what? Yeah. I'm like, this is crazy.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we do need unity, and thank God again, we were way ahead of the curve, right? So we created the Unity Tour, and the Unity Project. Unity Project started about 8 months ago. So, and then the Unity Tour. So it's great. I'm glad they're using all our taglines. So hopefully they'll all show up on the Unity Tour.
You almost called it the Unitour. I caught that. You almost went there. I have a video that kind of shows Bruce and company getting ready for the. Yeah, I think you're going to bring everything. The golf cart, the boat. Hey, why not, right? And the trailer.
That's a built-in convoy right there. We don't need a convoy if we have that hooked up.
That's right. How is he going to back up?
Oh, Lord, right? There is no backing up with that apparatus.
It's a one-way deal, and that's it. I saw that, and I'm like, yeah, that's what the Unity Tour is going to look like. Give us a quick update while we're on the topic, and then we'll jump into a little bit more of this censorship stuff.
So we have a lot of speakers coming on board, which is great, that are going to be there. I know Lisa wants me to create a list. I just don't have time. So Lisa, just put everybody on there, and if they don't like it, we'll pull them off. That's how many speakers are saying they're going to be there. So that's pretty phenomenal. Guys, get ready. We're starting in Jacksonville. We need the biggest kickoff that we possibly can. It's free. The Unity Tour is epic. If you haven't figured it out yet, this is a game changer. So when we start in Jacksonville on the first day, when you show up, there's going to be music playing, right? And then we're going to get into it. We'll have we're going to generally a patriot will sing a patriotic song. Then there'll be a prayer. and then Bruce will go probably with some local news about that area or Florida in general. From there, we'll move into I'll come up and speak, and it'll either be myself or some of our speakers that will go under the four pillars that we're united to eliminate New World control, illegal immigration. Ask everybody on here to please go in every single chat out there and start promoting the Unity Tour. Please say, are you going to be at the Unity Tour? Everybody, we need to unify. This is the game changer. It's free. There should be no excuses. Go after the podcasters. Everybody start asking these questions, because there's no reason that they can't at least support the Unity Tour, if not be there in person. There's no reason, because we are going by those four pillars. We have no bias. There's people that have issues with me, people that don't have issues with me, people that have issues with the other. They're all unifying and coming together and going to be there. So anybody that's not there, you should go, oh, or at least anybody says, oh, I can't support that. You should say why. What motivation do they have? What agenda do they have that's separate from those four pillars? So this is what I would recommend. And guys, I'm going to just flat out tell you, things are about 2 to 2.5 times more expensive than we budgeted. And I never do this, but financially, we are getting raked over the coals right now. And our sponsor can only handle so much, right? So he's going to follow up to his commitment, but we're way, way, way past there. So if anybody can help donate, it pains me to say it. I never say it. It turns my stomach to say it. But right now, we need some help. So go to givesendgo.com/Unity Tour if you can help. Or at least, can you go there and give us prayers? They have an availability that you can pray for us also. So if you don't have the financial wherewithal, I get it. And please don't give us your last dollars either. I would never expect that. So, but if you're tight, no worries. Go there and just pray for us, so we know, because the prayers will help in general also. We're going to manifest just an amazing tour. I frankly should have expected that with the cost of living, it would be, I thought maybe 30% more, but I'm shocked. Everything that we're trying to purchase and spaces to rent is 2 to 2.5 times more. And so what you hear about this fake inflation of 18 to 20% max is just an absolute total lie. It's not even close to that.
It's way over it. And you look at my brother was food shopping the other day, and he texted me. He says, I can't believe these prices. I'm like, really? You're in North Carolina? It's like, but he was showing me some of the pricing there, and it's crazy. It's California pricing the way it used to be. California pricing now is even worse, and everything's up. I mean, Like, I was looking for some stuff too on the weekend, and I couldn't believe the pricing. I'm like, I'll pass. I'll wait. It's like I don't need it that badly.
That's really where we're getting. Unfortunately, we can't wait or pass when we're doing a Unity Tour, because we have commitments. So right. we just have to bite the bullet, as they say.
Absolutely. Okay. Pavel Durov looks like he's going to be given 20 years in prison in France. He has a dual citizenship, Russia and France. So that's what probably he was doing in France, and he was off to somewhere on his private jet with his girlfriend, and they stopped him at the airport and picked him up. And I was looking at some of the crazy charges that they have for him. It's just if you look at these charges, it's all complicity. If you go through it, and I read through all of them, and it's a little bit too small on my screen even to read, but if you look at all the charges, essentially he's being charged with something you really can't be charged with, which is you're responsible for the content on your website.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if that were true, how come Zuck's not in jail?
No, whoa. How come every bartender in the world is not in jail?
Yeah.
Every owner of a restaurant that allows a fight to happen is not in jail.
Yep.
Right? I mean, it's absolutely ludicrous. There's a kind of a side story to this that nobody's talking about. It seems like the way they tracked him down is they were tracking the social media
of his girlfriend,
location tags of his girlfriend.
Yep.
And I don't want to spin this wrongly, but could that have been a honeypot? I don't know. Was
That's
it
speculation.
intentional,
Yeah, there's people
or
speculating.
was it just an accident? And she shouldn't have had her. She should not have been posting because they were tracking her location. But you would think they'd be more sophisticated than that.
Yeah, hard to know, right? Hard to know what the real story is here, but yeah, it's scary because that's the whole thing. And now there's word that they're trying to go after Elon now, so that may be something that we're going to look at here in the future. We're starting to see that pop up. Elon Musk calls for the release of Telegram founder Pavel Durov as arrest sparks debate over whether X owner might be next. And there were stories out of the UK. I couldn't confirm them, both out of UK and France, that in those countries there.
Well, here's the sickening part, and this is what I think people have to be aware of. It's not cool if they put an arrest warrant out for anybody like that for this type of thing, but at least it's a warning. That's not what they did with Pavlov. What they did is no, that's not the way it
They
works.
didn't play it that way. Yep.
They did not play it that way. It's amazing.
It makes you have to wonder about what is really going on there. And our buddy Chris Pavlowski, who runs Rumble,
Rumble, yeah.
posted this, and he said, "I'm a little late to this, but for good reason. I've just safely departed from Europe." Before he said anything, he departed Europe because what? He didn't want to get arrested, right? France has threatened
Yeah.
Rumble, and now they have crossed a red line by arresting Telegram's CEO, reportedly for not censoring speech. Rumble will not stand for this behavior, and we use every legal means available to fight for freedom of expression, a universal human right. We are currently fighting in the courts in France, and we hope for Pavel Durov's immediate release.
Yeah. There's really not much to say. It's just playing out in real time. And I think it's pretty obvious to everybody. Well, here's the challenge I have, and I had this conversation yesterday. Um, the challenge is nobody thinks this type of behavior is fine. Unfortunately, the Democrats think it's fine because it's justified because they hate Trump and they hate free speech. They want controlled speech. So even though they would never say publicly, "Oh, we totally agree with this," they definitely will say, "Well, hey, well, it's because of this, or it's because we're getting this guy or this bad guy," right? They somehow have these justifications in their mind, and it's
Correct.
really sad. And that's part of the brainwashing element that it's tough to break because they now we're to the point where people are brainwashing themselves because they're so stuck in the mud of where they think they're supposed to be that they'll justify. How many people came out and said, "I wish they would have finished the job with President Trump"? A ton,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
By the way, I haven't seen an arrest there yet. Have you?
Nope.
Hmm.
Not one. Bongino was on the Hill this morning, and they have a committee, I guess, and he was doing a hearing, and he was talking about it, and he says he's never seen a more catastrophic failure of Secret Service, a place he worked for 12 years. So
He still didn't see a failure because it was
it
intentional.
was very intentional. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't make that many mistakes if you're trying to protect
No.
somebody. I'm sorry, it's just not working that way.
No. Exactly.
So, what concerns me here is, Chris Pavlowski, good on him standing up against this, but he has to go to France to fight in court because France banned Rumble, because Rumble wouldn't play the game of censorship, right? And it's like, okay, does he have to go back again and to go to trial, or can he do it remotely via Zoom? And if he steps foot in France, will they do the same game and put him in prison as well? And the other part that's really annoying is like we really need these guys to continue to build Rumble as a platform and make it better and better and better. And they're distracted. And they've got to spend all this money to fight this nonsense in a foreign country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I understand distractions. I'm involved in some very important things right now in regards to the Unity Tour, and distractions are the most frustrating thing that I can say. And it does derail you,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so when you have so much to do And let's say you're like, okay, I know that I can accomplish this working 60 hours, 16 hours a day for 30 days, right? And then something pops up, right? And suddenly now, okay, now I got to work a little later in the day, get a little bit less sleep, and something else pops up because the stuff that you have to do doesn't go away unless you make a choice and you let it go away. And that's my concern with Telegram and Rumble, where they were just like, well, it's gonna all the good stuff we're gonna do for We the People kind of have to go on the back burner because now we have to defend ourselves. By the way, that is another tactic of lawfare. And I've been directly involved with that, where I was sent literally an 18-inch lawsuit. The first lawsuit we got dropped on our desk was 18 inches, and that was complete lawfare. So they understood that it would either distract our company or it would remove sales, get people in fear, hold us back, right? Thank God we won. We were the first company ever to win against this cabal company, but it doesn't put aside the fact that it cost us so much time, energy, literally heart attacks within people that were working there. So the lawfare is very, very powerful, extraordinarily powerful. And they know that even if they're not successful in the end game, you completely can disrupt what somebody wants to do with it.
No question. So Chris posted this morning as well. China bans Rumble. France threatens Rumble. We leave. Brazil threatens Rumble. We leave. UK threatens Rumble. Russia bans Rumble. New Zealand threatens Rumble. France arrests Telegram CEO. Free speech is under major assault, and I will not stop fighting for it. This is a Canadian, by the way. This company, Rumble, was started in Canada.
So the one that gets me, I saw that also. The one that gets me is Russia. If Russia is doing their job, why on earth are they banning Rumble? Because we keep hearing Russia's good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why exactly they're banning Rumble? I don't know. To me, I don't see why they would need to be part of the narrative anymore.
Yeah, and Russia apparently stepped up, in support of Pavel Durov of Telegram and saying that he should be released. So he's a Russian citizen. Or half citizen,
yep.
Yeah.
Right, half citizen. So they need to step up and say, put Rumble back on.
Yeah.
That would be stepping up to.
Change your Gmail address every 15 days. Oh.
McAfee, tell us what you really think.
Yeah. Don't hide, don't hold back.
I had to read between the lines.
Yeah. So yeah, we have a lot to to think about here. It's like if the censorship continues, like I said, it's very easy for them. It's trivial to knock off all our accounts and we're gone, just like that. We exist no more in the public space. I mean, it's just literally a little checkbox gone, and that's the end of the account that you've spent years building, right? And they could take Telegram down quickly. They could ban Rumble in other countries. As you see, that's already happening. France banned them, about 2 years ago? France kicked them out?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's crazy.
It is. And I had a friend from high school comment on one of my posts because I said, be prepared. Things are heating up, kind of messaging. And he says, I don't know anything about this. And I said, I understand you're in Canada and things are very censored there. It's hard for you to get the news. He goes, I'm 100% with you. I get it. So we're going to have a call next week. I'm going to chat with him and try to get him up to speed on things that kind of can't get through the censorship there. But apparently it's really extreme there in Canada now. It's akin to a communist country. There's no news getting into Canada from outside sources. Most of the media there is government run or government sanctioned. So we don't want to go there, guys.
That's funny enough. I literally just had that conversation yesterday, saying Canada was the worst. Yeah, it's just absolutely crazy.
We are living it, no question. All right, I want to give just a quick shout out to our buddy Lance Shuttler. He has a great product on the market called Berberine. You got to try this, really. If you're worried at all about blood sugar spikes and keeping your blood sugar balanced, this is really good. This is also great for losing weight. It's the master metabolic switch, as he calls it, and it supports the activation of AMPK, which is a fat burner. So it supports your healthy blood sugar, promotes a healthy metabolism, supports a healthy and diverse gut microbiome, which the gut is the center of your immune system, right? It's all your health is in your gut. If you have an unhealthy gut, you've got problems all over the place. Revitalizes your energy levels and assists in healthy weight maintenance. If you want to find out more, screwbiggov.com/health, screwbiggov.com/health. And we couldn't be happier to work with Lance. I think we really love his products and love what he brings to the table, and his products are always top shelf. All right.
They are.
I don't understand fully Trump at Arlington Cemetery laying the wreath in this way, but there's more to this story, I believe, than is being reported. So that was
an event there, and that's what I find to be fascinating about it.
Yeah,
because you're right. This was a completely different event than the one on Memorial Day, right?
right.
But it's still, if it's a sanctioned event, I've never, and I could be wrong, guys, and I'm willing to be wrong. I've never seen a non-president. Actually, I think I've seen a vice president stand in place of a president before and do it, but I've never seen somebody that was not in the White House do this before. So it's fascinating to watch.
All right, are you ready to go to Surprise, Arizona?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
And I'll tell you, guys, this is the reason why I almost didn't make it to the show today, but I'll enlighten you after we play this. Pay attention to this. Pay attention to this. And everybody's going to be focusing on how bad the tyranny is upon the bench, but I'm going to just...
You have to unmute your microphone, my friend.
Here's what we need to point out on this. And then I'm going to address this bullshit that I keep hearing in the chat about it's only military personnel supporting us coming over the border. In fact, I'll address it now. In the tunnels underneath the border. So it's irresponsible for you guys to stop with that bullshit. Okay? I don't care if you want it to be true. It's not true. Jesus, I'm sick of this shit. Let me tell you the problem when I was watching this video right here. Okay? Number one, obviously, we see that the whole city council was at completely stopping this woman's First Amendment rights. That's the most obvious thing right there. Number two, immediately, if you notice, the officer put his hands on her. Immediately. That is so out of character. That is not what you're supposed to do. Right? That is not what you're supposed to do. The officer immediately put her hand on the back and then put his other hand on her other arm, right, this to get her out of there. That is so far from protocol. That is Stasi-type brown shirt behavior, right? People should notice that. Number two, if you notice, that he escorted her out, and her poor daughter, her 10-year-old daughter, was left in the front row and ran screaming at the end after her mom. But none of that is a big deal compared to the biggest deal. And this is why I was literally, I went away from my computer. I had to go in my bedroom, and I actually cried, and I almost didn't make it here. We will not win when all the people in the audience continue to let this shit happen. We are done for. You guys think it's a game? Everybody in the audience is just watching. I guarantee you there's at least 60% of the people, because I know where Surprise Arizona is, and they're conservative. They're Trump supporters. Not one person stood up and fight for this woman. Not one. Not one. If we don't physically stand up in a situation like this in regards to tyranny, they will continue to do it. I can tell you, if 40 or 50 people in that audience would have walked and said, hey, you're going through me to get to her, are you willing to do that? They would have backed down. And then somebody says, We will leave peacefully, but you will not put your hands on this young lady. But none of these people did. Of course, when she's going down the aisle, I'm so sorry you had to go through this. Oh, it hurts my heart to see this happen. Right? We, the people, need to take action and take action now.
It's very instructive, Lewis, and we see this ironically in other countries. When something like this happens, the whole audience will rise up, and they'll throw the whole thing into chaos. And these guys remain. You're looking at this video. These guys remain in perfect control. They had this one cop, and like you said, he was overly aggressive with this woman, and there weren't that many people in that room, but still, somebody should have said something. Somebody should have spoke up, but maybe.
Well, you may not have seen him in the front row, because I can tell you the game that they've been doing. Uh-huh. They started this in Maricopa County. They empty the front row because that's called the camera row. Yeah, so they empty the front row. It's not. If we look at the first frame from this, you can see past through it from a different angle. There's a bunch of people in the audience, right? So, but they intentionally, they started doing this in Maricopa County, and their reason was because it's harder to get to the people on the other side of their high towers. Look how high they're sitting up. They're so much above us, right? It's hard to get to them. So they clear out the front row, what we call the camera row. So it works for two reasons. Now people think nobody attends these things, right? And second, they consider it's for their safety. This is tyrannical rule, guys. There's no two ways about it, right? And I am getting angry because until we, the people, stand up for our brethren, right? How could we not stand up for that lady, especially when she had a child right there? How would we let her child?
Nobody went to comfort the child either. I found that kind of interesting.
Nobody
just
did.
Let it go.
It blew me away. It just blew me away. And all they had to do is if 10 people would have just stood up, or even 5, right? 5, and just stand up, right? Go, well, hold on. You're not going to put your hands on her, right? They go, well, we're going to hold you, whatever. You hold us in, but you are not going to get to her. We will peacefully protest. We will peacefully leave here. But you guys see, the challenge is we see the uniform and then suddenly we think
authority.
Authority?
Yep.
That's the brainwashing. That's the MK Ultra that has hit us so hard, right? Tyranny is tyranny. It doesn't matter what type of clothes you're wearing, right? This is tyrannical behavior. So I was more appalled by the lack of protection she got from the audience than I was from the people on the bench, because we already know who they are. We know they do this stuff, right? But I expect a lot more from we the people going forward. And I'm going to use this, and I'm going to use these situations over and over and over until we understand that we are the ones that make the difference. Donald Trump's not going to fly into Surprise, Arizona and fix things, right? You're not going to get the military going into Surprise, Arizona anytime soon. Okay? We need to take care of business.
Well,
it turned my stomach, because it made me feel like we have a long ways to go, because if one person would have stood up, I would have been like, okay, we're on. But nobody stood. This poor young lady with her daughter there, it just made me sick. Literally made me sick.
Yep. Well, take the macro view, right? Have you seen any protests since January 6th from our side?
Because they've convinced us that everybody gets arrested in the whole world. Yeah. It's not the way it works.
Yeah, and we keep seeing the videos of how horrible it is in those prisons, and how horribly they're being treated and put in solitary confinement for 90 days, and nobody wants to even dare dream of what that might be like for their life. But I don't know. Is it going to take a handful standing up that more will do it? It's always the first one to stick his head out, gets his head chopped off, but maybe when the first one does, more of them do.
You're exactly right. Exactly right. It's clear that somebody's going to have to lead by example, right? And then, but another one's going to have to follow, and another one follow, and another one follow, and that's just the way it works. Yeah. Somebody with some immense courage is going to have to stand up in these. She had the immense courage, but then nobody came to her rescue. It's like, wow, you think she's going to want to do that again?
No,
especially put her daughter through that. So guess who won? She didn't win. You guys may think, oh, she's so strong, she won. She didn't win. She lost because nobody stood up for her.
Yep. And she's probably got to deal with legal bills now.
Oh, of course she does. And I can tell you, CPS in Arizona is extraordinarily corrupt. They may target her daughter next. So you guys that didn't stand up for her, you may want to think about that also. By the way, it's called DCS because they were so corrupt they had to change their name because even Google couldn't suppress it.
Wow. Wow.
Just saying, you guys want some facts? You get facts right here.
Boy, a little bit of dust in the throat here. Hey, did RFK Jr. really eat a dog?
Oh,
Did you hear
favorite bugs. It really calms them down.
I guess he didn't eat a dog after all. Oh, well.
this is brilliant. That was brilliant, though.
I know, it's brilliant. I wish he was feeding him better food, though, but, maybe he's got good stuff.
Let me give him a call.
Let people know about screwbiggov.com/pets, Pet Club 24/7. I did post on Facebook a nice photo of Thumper. And boy, oh boy, did Thumper get a lot of love on Facebook this weekend.
Oh, did he?
Oh boy, did he get a lot of love. Everyone was is saying, how good he looked and it's amazing. And well, it's the food you feed. The animals are responding the same way we respond to good food, and we stay healthy. They'll stay healthy as well. And Pet Club 24/7 has good food, especially the super sauce. People ask, where do you begin? Start with the super sauce, mix it in with their existing food. And what you'll find is, you'll start to see results pretty quickly. More energy, they're more spry, their coat is much silkier, cleaner, and just really, they really start to bounce back, if you will, from the doldrums of eating crappy food. So go check it out, screwbiggov.com/pets, and we really love what they do, and we thank them for supporting. And Kristen is going to join us on Friday's show this week. I've got some very pointed questions for that woman about pet food.
That's awesome. So we have a lot of stuff going on. Robert doesn't even know about this stuff, by the way. He'll scold me after the show. But we have, let me tell you real quick. Tomorrow we will have, I want to pronounce his name right, Robert Schomburg. Robert Schomburg will be on tomorrow, and he will be talking about Tiamat and Maldek, causes and consequences. So that'll be very, very interesting. And then possibly Wednesday, I should have put the picture, Robert, because I have it. But there is a young lady that was actually at
Harris. Gang members for Harris. Sheep for Harris. That's a big one. Big voter group. Socialists for Harris. Sheep for Harris. Shout out Gilbert, Arizona.
Gilbert, Arizona. Somebody's got a sense of humor. I love it. I love it.
That is brilliant. We need more of that. That is just brilliant.
We really do. We really do. Apparently Biden just returned from vacation. He was in California vacationing, and then he's taking another 9-day vacation back to Delaware.
Well, he has to take a vacation from his vacation.
He works so hard on his tan. He's tired. Poor man. So, if you ask the question...
It's hard to get tan when you're wearing a silicone mask.
Exactly. And you ask the question, who is really running the country? Well, it certainly was never him. I doubt it's Harris. More likely, Obama, but we can go beyond that. I think he's just a puppet as well. Who's really behind it all?
I don't. It's some reptilian. That's all I know.
Some reptilian. Here's a new company coming up with a rather unique idea. So you're outside. It's the middle of the night. It's dark. You could pick up your phone. You could dial an app, and they'll beam sunshine down to your location. Did you see this?
Orbital has a new lighting service where you can play with the spot.
Oh,
but
awesome.
watch this. Just bring it over to us here. Isn't that crazy?
No way.
So taking the idea of what Elon Musk has done with Wi-Fi and just, having the satellites outside of the shadow of the Earth and having a mirror and being able to project it down on you, it's crazy.
Well, I'll believe it. I'll believe it when we see it.
Yeah. So it's a prototype right now, but kind of interesting. Anyway, yeah.
So they can do that with balloons that are hovering around the flat Earth also?
Oh, maybe. Maybe. Oh, brother. What else do we have here for you today? Kamala. We did the Kamala. We've got the libs of TikTok. This is. Oh, wow.
Their parents are so proud of them right now.
Oh, brother. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they were probably dicked down by the same guy too, would be my guess.
Yeah, I think that's probably part of it. Oh, brother. Yeah. Well, I know time is of the essence for you, so we're at the top of the hour. I know you want to get on to another interview. You've got a lot going on, my friend. I appreciate.
I just got a confirmation on that. Let me check the time. Okay. Yep. So yeah, I've got 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes. All right. How do you feel about Tulsi then?
We as Americans must stand together to reject this anti-freedom culture. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
More to come, apparently.
Yeah. So somebody asked me in a recent interview, do you see anybody else coming from the Democratic side? And I said, yeah, Tulsi Gabbard will be first. Oh, boom, check 1. I said, you'll probably see Joe Manchin. By the way, this was before she said it. Just so you know, I said, you'll probably see Joe Manchin. And I know it's a surprise, but I think you might even see a Kirsten Sinema, which will really freak people out if that happens.
Yeah, well, she's independent too, so that would make sense. They're already kind of on there. The other thing, because somebody asked me that same question, I said, I'm looking more toward business leaders more than politicians coming over, because they realize 4 more years of what we've just seen, there's no more economy, there's no more business for them. So they're wising up now, waking up to it.
That's truly if we live in the world that appears that we do.
Right.
But since the business leaders are mainly deep state, I don't see that unless they've already been taken out. But I will admit, what they have, like 12,000 resignations under Trump immediately. Yeah. So they may already have their corporate replacements in place. But if we were under the same status quo, the Fortune 1000 are all deep state actors. They would never support President Trump, because it would be the antithesis to their agenda. But if you are right and you see that, the good news is that means that the military has already replaced a lot of those people, which would be phenomenal if that could happen. I think the same ones, though, of course, that were supporting the lockdowns and the mask mandates and everything else.
I see a lot less battle between the Wall Street Titans and Trump. That has really died down a lot. They were really anti-Trump at first because he was going to come after them in that way and this and that. And I think we're starting to see that changing. And it's like the exodus has really begun. I mean, if you look at RFK and Tulsi and then the ones that will follow, clearly, when you start going in that direction, a lot more are going to follow. It's just going to take a few big names. Like RFK brought over 52%, I think, of his followers are now okay with voting for Trump. I mean, that is insane.
And that's first hit. They'll start to come through also even quicker than that. Yeah. I'll get excited when Taylor Swift endorses President Trump.
Oh, I've seen a lot of memes about that already with their AI, but still.
That's hilarious.
They're coming. All right, I'm going to play the Unity Tour promo, and then I'll play our normal outro. Lewis, if you have to hop off, you can certainly do that while these videos are playing, and then we can catch up a little bit later as needed. Yeah.
Love you, Robert, and we'll talk about the interviews coming up too, so we can coordinate. Appreciate everybody here. I'm not apologizing for my rant, but I'm apologizing to the person that I was ranting at.
Okay.
So